guys, welcome back. So what we're looking at today is lesson 10, designing simulations. So we are going to be looking at designing a simulation that will go to a specific situation that we want to take and find the probability of. So we have our list of different situations that we will be taking and looking at. So a man has 5 grandchildren, 4 girls and 1 boy. He thinks this is unusual. If the probability that any child born will be a girl is 1/2, what is the probability that a person who has 5 grandchildren will have exactly 4 granddaughters? Is this case unusual? Explain. So because it's a 50% chance, our simulation can be flip 5 coins. Heads means girls. Tails means boy. If the coins land with 4 heads and 1 tail, it will match the situation. So if they land 1 tail, 4 heads, it matches. After doing it 10 times, one of them has this result. It's fairly unusual. So test the simulation multiple times. Doesn't happen often. Fairly unusual. All right, so our second one. To be on the safe side, 3 detectors were installed in a factory room to make sure that if there was a fire, at least one of them would signal a warning. The company that manufactured the smoke detectors indicated that based on their testing, the probability that any one of the smoke detectors will work correctly is 0.75, meaning that it works 75% of the time in the long run. This also means that there's a 25% chance that if there is smoke or a fire, the detector will not work. What is the probability that if there was smoke in the factory, none of the 3 detectors would work? Does this probability indicate a safety problem for the factory? Explain. So I'm going to change the color to make this easier to differentiate between. So for 2, we can spin 3 spinners. So spin 3 spinners. Each have 75% marked working, the other 25% as not working. If all 3 of the spinners land on not working, the fire is undetected. After doing this 10 times, this never happened. Since it's possible, the estimate should be between 0 and 0.1. This is not a safety problem for the factory since fires are so rare, and when there is a fire, at least one of the detectors usually work. So test multiple times. Never/rarely happens when none work. So not a safety problem. All right, the third one, and we'll just do 3 of them instead of all 5, just because there's a lot of them. An automobile factory has a reputation for assembling high-quality cars. However, several new cars were shipped out to dealers that had a problem with the brakes. It is estimated that approximately 10% of the cars assembled at this factory have defective brakes. 5 of these cars are shipped to a dealership near your school. What is the probability that none of the 5 cars will have defective brakes? Should the dealership be concerned? So, looking at this one, we can do a bag with slips of paper. So 3 in a bag. slips of paper say brakes work. One says defective brakes. So we draw one paper out, replace it, then repeat for each of the 5 cars. So draw out paper, replace, repeat 5 times. That way we have the 5 cars taken care of. If all 5 cars have working brakes, the dealer is okay. After doing this 10 times, this happens 6 times. The dealership should be concerned since having defective brakes is a brake problem, and the probability is only about 0.6 that none of the cars have this problem. So dealership should be worried. 40% chance defective. So the more times we do a simulation, the more tests we run on it, the more accurate it gets. But designing a simulation that represents the probability of this happening, so knowing the 50%, use a coin. Other things, you can use the spinner like we have, we can use the bag. We just have to make sure that it represents what the situation is in the best way possible. So we need to make sure all, however many items there are, or however many smoke detectors there are, we have that taken into account. We have it taken into account how many cars we're looking at, knowing those probabilities and so forth. So your keyword for this lesson is design, because you're designing the simulations. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.